Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Channel Insights podcast. I'm your host, Dinara, and today we are going to talk about the impact of AI on partner management. And I'm absolutely thrilled to be joined today by Dr. Alejandro Cananero, the author of the book War of Ecosystems, and many other great things. Alejandro is going to talk to us about it. Welcome to the show, Alejandro.
Thank you very much for having me, Dinara. It's a pleasure to be with you today.
Fantastic. Thank you, Alejandro. Please tell me a little bit more about what you do and how many years you've been in this partner management and ecosystems. I looked at your LinkedIn profile and you work for such amazing, great, big names. So, what you do, how you do it, and what you can teach us.
Absolutely. Well, I had the fortune to work for great companies for 35 years. I worked for Hewlett Packard, Amazon Web Services, Google, Teradata, and others. I saw my employers made a lot of mistakes. I made a lot of mistakes, but we also did great things. So over this time, I also decided to pursue an academic endeavor, which is bring some academic rigor to what works and what doesn't in the platform economy, particularly in the cloud, SaaS, and AI ecosystems, which is an area where I was very experienced on, but from a practical perspective. So I did a doctorate degree, sort of PhD research over 6 years, follow an academic rigorous process to get to research what works and what doesn't by interviewing knowledge subject matter experts in the industry, analyze primary data, secondary data, and also do a literature review of everything that was written about partner ecosystems in the academic world. That was one of the requirements for the doctorate degree, that you needed to create new knowledge. So that was my pursuit, to create new knowledge. So the outcome is that I documented my findings and I decided to make them available to the world with my book, World of the Ecosystems, where we talked about what's happening in the industry and all the little battles that are taking place all the time to win the customer preference, to win the platform preference, to win the developer's attention, to win the chip preference, chip manufacturer's preference. So there are many moving parts in this that is not very simple to understand how to play it. And my goal is to help small startups, medium-sized organizations, professional services organizations to use AI and SaaS and cloud platforms to win in the marketplace. And that's what the book is about. It's 500 pages. You can hit someone in the head and defend yourself with it. And there is a ton of learnings. And it is my gift to the world in terms of sharing what I learned. So that's how the book came up.
This is impressive, and I hope to get a copy with your signature at some point.
Of course, you will immediately after this call.
Fantastic. I got a gift for myself. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I mean, 35 years. And how has the landscape changed ever since? I mean, so much knowledge. Let's explore this role a bit, channel account manager role. What would your advice be on how to be successful in their role with the help of AI technologies and all the knowledge or mistakes you've made and you would have changed now?
Yeah, thank you. So behaviorally for channel people, I hate the word channel, and I also wrote it in my book that I hate the word channel because it oversimplifies the power of partnerships and alliances.
Mhm.
And that's one thing that changed over the years since I'm answering your question is seeing partners as a channel through through to pass to get to a customer is an old-fashioned perspective in my view. We need to see partners as an intrinsic part of our winning strategy. And they bring a lot of value in terms of the knowledge of the customer, in terms of the services they provide around certain technologies. So I see partnerships as an intrinsic area of managing an ecosystem. So the first thing I will say about that I changed, or at least in my perspective, is I'm bringing about the notion of a new paradigm. Instead of starting with direct sales, marketing, and channel on one side, is having an ecosystem first strategy when we design a go-to-market strategy. For a professional services company selling and implementing AI, cloud, and SaaS technologies, but also for SaaS producers AI now, companies that are launching AI products, is have an ecosystem first mindset to design a go-to-market. And this is very important in how it impacts how the company presents itself to the world and how it operates internally. And here comes the behavioral aspects that I will talk about the channel manager or a partnerships manager or an alliances manager, or perhaps what I will call it, an ecosystem builder and developer, which is try to influence your organization to have a holistic perspective across the board, from demand generation, all the elements of marketing, positioning, and generating demand, the direct sales organization, and the ecosystem play in terms of which partners do we collaborate with to be part of a bigger offering. For me, you see companies popping up all the time, particularly with new AI offerings. These are offerings for consumers. My focus is about the big business, the enterprise business. You're not going to sell a lot if you go alone and try to sell to an enterprise customer. So you're going to need to be part of a play where other members of that ecosystem have a strong influence. A system integrator, global or local or regional, a technology vendor, a professional services organization, a training and development organization. For me, it's critical that the company that we are trying to help, and this is what I'm doing today, is helping companies to understand what part of the value chain they play at. So of the overall value that is being provided to the customer, your technology solves this problem. Okay, who does it before and who does it after you? What part of the value chain are you in? Because that is going to tell you which are the partner types and the type of companies that you need to collaborate with to be part of a bigger offering. That's number one. Today, an example of that is the platform offerings that we have with Amazon Web Services, Google Cloud, Microsoft, SAP, Salesforce, IBM, Oracle. They are like the cornerstone of these ecosystems, and then you have other members collaborating around. So coming back to the particular question around behavior for a channel account manager and ecosystem builder is make sure that you are voicing your perspective in terms of how the partners should be thought after when designing the go-to-market strategy. They are not another sales channel. They are part of your presence in the market. They will represent you in many cases. You need to make sure that all your processes in your company are supporting that strategy. So you go with one voice. Your direct force doesn't compete with your channel partners. Your marketing strategy supports a direct and an indirect sales motion. So that will be a critical element on how a channel account manager, ecosystem builder, partner manager, alliance manager can help his own company to have a bigger perspective.
This is really helpful, Alejandro, because I do know there are a lot of channel account managers on my podcast as part of the audience. Plus, I know you don't like the name channel, but my channel Inside Podcast has a name channel, but you can always play around. That is channel for channel, because I've always worked for this for 24 years in the channel. But you're absolutely right. It's all about ecosystems and the key elements of how we play around it, that build and scale our business. So coming back to your book a bit and shifting gears a little bit, so who is your ideal target audience for this book? Who would it benefit the most? And did you say 500 pages it has? I
Yes,
mean, how long did it
500
take you?
pages. That's what
How
I'm
long
saying.
did
You
it
can
take
carry it
you
in your backpack and you
yeah,
can train. Yeah, you can do heavy training. Heart rate is going to go up when you carry it.
that's awesome.
This is a joke that I make with friends about it. And yes, it has 18 chapters that talk about how to work with GSIs, how to work with the SaaS vendors, how to work with cloud platforms, how to embed your AI offerings to win. It has all my perspectives, my learnings. Can it be better? Of course, there are many angles to it. This is my way of seeing it, my way of sharing it. And yes, 500 pages with a lot of learnings, a lot of frameworks. People can, take notes. There is a reflection area after every chapter where you can write what you think about what is being said that refers to your own particular company. So you start exercising some insights on your perspective in your own company. So I would say the audience for this book is anyone that is selling or implementing cloud technology, software as a service technology, and now some AI applications, right? If you want to win in the marketplace, you need to know how to play the ecosystem game. And I call it a war of the ecosystems because it is a war between platforms, it's a war between SaaS vendors that are offering the same thing, it's a war between service providers, and then there are battlegrounds. I used the analogy of a Second World War, for example. I hate conflict and it's not good, but as an analogy, you have the big war, but then you have the Russian front, you have the African front, you have the Western front, you have the ocean war with the submarines and the world. And this is taking place all the time in our industry. AWS was the first one to conquer the developers, right? The developers loved AWS and they recommended AWS technically. So some deals started to be won because the technical people trusted that technology, right? So then all the vendors tried to convince the developers that the technology was the best, to try to influence that technical audience. Then you have NVIDIA fighting Intel, fighting AMD, and many other chip manufacturers are fighting for the platform money because the platform had a lot of money to buy a lot of chips. So NVIDIA developed an AI-focused chip to be sold to the platforms, right? So the chip manufacturers are fighting. There is a fight for the developers. There is a fight to convince Deloitte, Accenture, and all the big and local systems integrators, take my technology to your customers, take my platform, take my cloud offering, right? So it's a
Yeah.
continuous fight. The
Continue.
ISVs, there are many ISVs offering similar value propositions. They compete with each other. So how do they ensure that they win and not lose in this war? They need to choose their allies carefully, right? And these are all moving parts that are happening all the time. So unless you know how you're going to go about it, you're going to get lost and you're going to get overrun. So that's what the book is about. So it's for academics, if they want to look at how this game is played in the real world, you can teach it at a university. In fact, I'm teaching some people in some courses, in MBA courses and doctoral courses and some vocational courses about how to go about selling technology. The model has changed a little bit. Some things are still the same, but others, need to be taken care of.
I think it's a fantastic book, honestly, for all the companies who have their go to market channel through ecosystem. This is really, really great. Do you have any digital version of this book and where can we buy it?
Yeah, thank you, Dinara. Yeah, the book is available as a Kindle offering in Amazon worldwide. In fact, I think the book has been bought in 7 countries already, which is wonderful. You can buy it physically also in Amazon, and you can buy the audiobook anywhere. In Spotify, you can listen to it. You can listen in audiobooks.com, Barnes and Nobles, Walmart. There are almost all the platforms that have audiobooks available has my book. It's been narrated by a professional voice actor, so he has a better English than me, and it's wonderful, and it's available there to be bought.
Okay, and did you use AI for editing the book at all?
No, in fact, I refused to do it because I wanted to have a more classic approach to it. And I hired a professional editor, Joanna Booth. She is a co-writer with Agatha Christie. So she's a very good writer, and she edited my book over several iterations. And she took the first version, she destroyed it. She told me how to explain things better. Because I was coming from my thesis, I took my doctoral thesis, and I wanted to convert it into a book. And it was unreadable. It was very hard to read, very much oriented towards an academic audience. So she helped me out to change everything, asked me a lot of questions, asked me to explain things differently. And that's how I came about, creating the chapters with a war-related language, because I think that's something that will resonate with people and understanding how to capture this part of the market, how to capture this type of partnerships to help me grow. So yeah, it was not a tool that I use. Also, I research a lot and I use the AI tools a lot. I don't find them to be very deep. And another thing that I found is they don't create knowledge, right? These AI tools, probably in the future, but so far, they will talk about someone else wrote and put it together in a different way. At the end of the day, the LLMs are all about reading what other people wrote. And in my case, I was creating new knowledge. So this could not be available in any AI tool because my purpose was to create and say something that no one said before. That's, uh, that's how you cannot use these tools in any shape or form, I guess.
Yes, no, it's great to know. I mean, I'm not in favor of all these battles and wars and quite aggressive language, I would say.
Yeah,
But it is a very bold name of the book, and I think it will capture a lot of audience. And as you put it rightly, it's a constant fight and the battles on our channel ground, and so it will resonate with a lot of people. Great work here.
thank you.
So, Alejandro, you just mentioned that you help a lot of startups with their go-to-market strategies.
Yes,
So I'm based out of the UK, and I see a lot of positions opening up now of EMEA channel directors, channel chiefs, whereby there is like a new startup coming and popping up in America and trying to expand and scale to Europe. So what advice could you give to those startups in terms of building their go to market strategy in the most effective way? And the reason why I'm asking this is because I had a guest on my show a few weeks ago, and he just started a conversational AI company, well, startup, like 1 year old startup. And their strategy is a direct approach, having direct conversations with customers. Do you think they should straight away start building the ecosystem around their offering?
thank you for bringing it up. First impression, I talked in my book about there is a full chapter about challenges, right, in the ecosystem. And one of the key challenges is all function mindsets. That the more in control I am of my go-to-market motion, the more successful I'm going to be. And I'm going to do it with my own people, my direct sales people. I don't see many big companies in built that way. Perhaps at the beginning, but then when you really want to conquer the enterprise and government and public sector markets, you need to work with the people that know that market, that know those companies, that are already working in those companies. And one thing that I saw Jeff Bezos, that I admire very much, the founder of Amazon and many other companies, is that he talked about AI being a horizontal enabler. When Satya Nadella says SaaS is dead, I don't think it is. In fact, AI has been there. When I was in AWS in 2015, when I joined to create the partner business for EMEA, and I created the AWS Marketplace team also in EMEA, we were already using AI tools. We start to think about, these Google devices and Amazon devices, they are all based on AI and machine learning. It's been there forever. Now it reached a new point where the consumer got exposure to it thanks to ChatGPT. So you take a step back and say, well, is AI an offering that I can take single-handedly to a market and get the customers to adopt it without using anything else next to it? Maybe you're going to have to invest a lot of money in marketing, in sales to get your positioning, to enter, to find those customers, to attract them. And you're competing with tools that are already there, established by bigger brands. So how are you going to win? That would be my first question. How do you think you're going to win in that market? My approach always will be an ecosystem play. Why? Because you will decide which country you want to penetrate first, who are your top customers, who is your ideal customer profile, and who are the top system integrators that are working with that customer, and can you partner with them to offer it? Also, conversational AI, okay. What are you feeding to that conversation? What is the model that you are feeding the tool with? Is the conversations, is technology, is information that the company already has in another format that you're going to teach the model to read it so they can answer questions about the insurance policy or whatever the product is? You're running it in the cloud, and it's already software as a service because you're offering it as a service. So it's SaaS, it's running in the cloud. Which cloud are you going to run it in? And which other technology will make your conversational AI work? You're going to run it in all platforms? You're going to run it in a single platform? What other systems, internal systems of the clients, is this tool going to talk to? Because it's an agent, right? So you're going to need to trigger workflows. You're going to need to trigger a customer service ticket if the customer wants. So there is a connection with other technology. So you need to know which will be the best technology you could partner with so you can go and co-sell with them. Co-selling He's talked about like the silver bullet today to win. It's been there forever. If you go together with other partners that offer complementary technology to the same group of customers, you probably have more chances to win. When big companies work together, the winning rate is all over. You interviewed Jay from Canalys a few weeks ago, right?
Yeah,
He has
yeah. Thank you
fantastic
for watching.
research that his company builds for him, right? And he shares with people. And you can see the win rates when you're co-selling with a partner are much higher when you sell direct. So what I will say to the founder of this company is, how much money you have to spend for how long to win how many customers for how much revenue, or you're gonna try a different approach. What I saw that doesn't work is going alone. What I saw that works is companies partnering and collaborating.
Fantastic. We're kind of wrapping up now, Alejandro, and I would like to ask you to look into like a shining ball in front of us and imagine what will future be like in the next decade in terms of AI reshaping the overall strategy of partner ecosystem. What is your take on this?
I love the question. It makes us think, right? And I love it. Thank you very much. It's so wonderful to be in that position to think about what could happen in the future. AI is wonderful technology. I used to run data warehousing projects for telecom companies and banks in 1994. So it was all about managing data, massaging the data to get insights. And it was structured data at the time. Now with the AI tools, we're managing unstructured data and structured data, right? But I see a lot of similarities and analogies, and I think AI is going to be embedded in everything we do, right? I don't think it's going to change the ecosystem management very much. You can delegate some tasks about creating demand, about qualifying opportunities, and also depends on the market. For the consumer, it will be much more impactful. But for the enterprise, it needs an implementation into a myriad of other systems. I saw some statistics, and probably some enterprise customers have 800 applications running.
Yeah,
A
no,
bank, a big oil and gas company, all these companies that
so
acquire a lot of
not.
technology, it's a spaghetti sort of a setup with a lot of technology combining, collaborating, and AI can help a lot, but it also needs to be helped to be embedded and connected. The whole principle of bad data will give you bad outcomes that we used to use in data warehousing, data lakes and data marts that we used to implement in the past applies the same. If you give the wrong data to an AI tool, or if it's not connected with the right applications to be part of a meaningful workflow. I'm thinking about an application of AI that is not about answering questions with ChatGPT in your phone, right? I'm talking about some meaningful changes in the way we do things. I think it's going to take a while to really notice a huge difference. But I think it's going to be extremely helpful to get rid of basic tasks and consolidate a lot of information. Even for decision making, probably some of these tools can help you. You drop some channel sales reports, and it could tell you which is your best selling partner and all of that, and much faster
Exactly.
sometimes. Yeah, of course. But I see it as another wonderful addition to the portfolio products that we have in the technology stack. Enterprise content management tools are going to continue to be used. Document management, ERP, CRM, it's going to continue to be there because they provide meaningful functions for a company to operate. AI may enhance it in some areas, and it's great.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm sure you agree with me that we live in a very exciting time. And
It is.
hopefully, we'll catch up with you in a few years and see how it pans out.
Yeah.
So, before I let you go, Alejandro, can you tell me something interesting about the life you have outside of your professional work? For example, what is the most impressive foreign country you have visited and why?
Nice, wonderful. Well, I've been fortunate to travel for a while. I was a scuba diving instructor, and I travel diving with sharks. I go with sharks in Australia and Mexico, South Africa, in a cage with white shark, no cage with tiger sharks. So I used to travel. That's a picture in Egypt in the Red Sea where I was diving, all sunk ships, Tistelgorm and many other big ships from the Second World War. So scuba diving showed me many nice places that are still safe from human impact. And I also been fortunate enough to be an Ironman finisher, and I'm an Ironman coach as well. So I did 5 Ironmans to raise money for charity for the Children Tumor Foundation, and I raised money for them by racing Ironman triathlons. So those are some areas that provided excitement in my life. I'm also a Boys and Girl Scouts leader, teaching them how to be prepared for life. And I'm also a member of the Civil Defense Organization in Spain, where we help in emergencies, inundations, fires, crisis, any type of emergency that the community has. So I've been fortunate enough to have a supportive family that allows me to pursue some interesting endeavors. And I'm raising 4 kids, so that's also keeping me busy.
Wow, you are a busy man and a very interesting interlocutor. Thank you so much for being
Thank
on
you.
this show. And we look forward to listening to your book and reading your book. And let's be connected. Thank you so
Absolutely.
much for your time.
Martinara, for the opportunity, and all the best to you and your audience. Thank you.